Hello world, Krista here with Books and Jams, and it's Friday, so that means it's time for another Friday 5. Yesterday and today I spent some time helping out at my library book sale. I joined the Friends of my library so that I could be one of the volunteers at the book sale. Really, that's the reason that I joined, but also because I love my library, and you guys should look into joining your library friends. It's $20 for a year at my library. I'm not sure about yours. But the library is such a great community resource for so many people, and I'm happy to be a part of it in this small way. But while I was helping out at the sale, of course, I did a little shopping. And if you saw my Instagram post last night, you'll see that I found a ton of books, and I grabbed a few more today as well. Most of the books that I picked up at the sale are ones that I've heard about, mainly because of people on BookTube. But I also picked up a number of books that I have never heard of before, or I didn't really know very much about. One of them on here is an author that I've heard of, but I didn't know much about the book itself. So that got me to thinking about what are the buzzwords that I have. I've seen other people talk about their bookish buzzwords, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. So instead of doing just 5 buzzwords for you, I'm going to show you 5 of the books that I chose at the library book sale and let you know what words were in the description for each book that made me want to purchase that book. So let's get right into it. The first book that I have to show you is a popular author on BookTube, Frederick Bachman, and this is Britt Marie. Britt Marie Was Here. And this book is written by the same author as A Man Called Uva, and my grandmother asked me to tell you, I'm sorry, neither of which have I read. So I wasn't sure what this one was about. So of course, in reading the back, there are a few words that stood out to me when reading this. And those are imagination. Britt Marie is described as being imaginative, and I love that. Small town, it takes place in a small town, and a bit of a misfit. So that was enough for me. I'm like, I absolutely think that this is a book that I am going to really enjoy. So if you've read this, let me know if those words are appropriate and if you liked it. The second book that I'm going to talk about today is The Violinist of Venice, which is a story of Vivaldi by Alyssa Palumbo. And this is historical fiction, which I love. Here are a few words that were in the description of this book that made me want to pick it up. Music. I love books that have music in them. A heartbreaking love story. Emotional, and Venice. Now, it doesn't have to just be Venice, but I love books that are set in other places. So on this one, it's set in Venice, and that was a big turn on for me. And also emotional. I love to have my emotions manipulated in books. Not necessarily manipulated, but I love it when a book really makes me feel for the characters. So the fact that it's a heartbreaking love story and a little bit emotional and deals with music in another country, I'm in to at least give it a try. Plus the cover is really pretty. That's always a plus. Actually, most of these have a beautiful cover. And let's be honest, that's the reason I picked them up in the first place. The third book that I'm going to talk about is called Crippen by John Boyne. And this is a novel of murder. So this one is a murder mystery. The reason that I originally picked this one up is because it is inscribed here, Taylor received this from Grammy and Bumpa. That's so precious. So in the description of this one were some words that drew me in, and they are 1910, which it doesn't have to be specifically 1910, but I love books that are set in other time periods. So the fact that this is set in July 1910 and that's the first thing you read about was immediately eye-catching to me. This involves a ship voyage, and I love stories that happen on a ship. This is a reimagining of an actual case where a murderer escapes. So this is a reimagining of how that person may have escaped. So I love retellings, reimaginings that are based on either fairy tale retellings, or this one happens to be based on a real life situation. That was very appealing to me. Number 4 is a book that someone else told me was a good one. This author was really good, and so I picked it up and read the back of it, and the book is called The Last Child by John Hart, and I heard that John Hart does a really good job with thrillers and mysteries, so I was eager to read about this, and here are some words that were on the back of this book that intrigued me to pick it up. One of those words is disappearance, and in this book, this little boy, Johnny, his sister disappears and is presumed to be dead a year later because they still haven't found her. I love thrillers or mysteries when somebody goes missing and they don't know whether or not the person is alive or not. I tend to pick out books that are like that quite a bit. There's 2 sentences on the back that sealed the deal for me. It says, his mother is devastated, his father is gone, and life will never be the same. But Johnny has a map, a bike, and a plan. Go Johnny. So Johnny's going to try to solve the mystery of what happened to his sister. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this one is all about. Number 5, book that I picked up underhyped, I guess, or unheard of. Really, it's not underhyped for me. It's unheard of because I never heard of them. The 5th book that I picked up that I want to talk about the buzzwords today is The Orchardist by Amanda Copeland. And again, we have a beautiful picture. This one had some words around the cover that I noticed. Storytelling power. I love an author who can really tell a good story. Family. I like family dramas, family book. Haunting, or the ghosts of his troubled past. So this story is about a man who lives on an orchardist. He's an orchardist. He lives in the Pacific Northwest and sells his fruit in a market. And one day these 2 teenage pregnant girls steal some of his fruit. Then they end up living on his orchard, or in his orchard, and they kind of become a makeshift family in a sense. He learns some of their story and in the process works through some of his own past. When one day these 2 men show up with guns, and I'm assuming they have something to do with these 2 girls. And the orchardist has to decide how he's going to protect them, or if he's going to protect them, and what he's going to do about this whole situation. So the storytelling aspect, the ghosts of his past kind of themes that are in there, and the family, makeshift family, whether it's your own family or a family that develops over time, those kinds of themes are words that stand out to me. Those are some of my bookish buzzwords, and words that in reading them on a description will make me interested in picking up the book and giving it a chance and reading it. I would love to hear from you, not only if you've heard of any of these books, because I've never really heard of anyone except the Frederick Bachman one, but have you heard of any of these other books or authors? And if not, that's fine. Let me know what some of your bookish buzzwords are. I would love to chat with you down in the comments. And keep your eyes open tomorrow. I have a very exciting video coming your way. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.